What's up, everybody? Long time no see, right? Hope everyone's doing well. We're currently in South Beach on the corner of 24th Street and Collins Avenue. Beautiful day. It's pretty much been a beautiful week in Miami. I think it's been about 4 days, give or take, since we've done a live stream. So I apologize for that. But it's good to be back. We'll get started here in just a minute. But hope everyone is doing good. This is the free Miami trolley. It's one of the good things about living in Miami-Dade, particularly if you live right off of Collins. I would say maybe 100th Street, or really even 140 and down. There's a lot of public transportation, both the bus and the trolley, which is great. Let's see who we got. Sally's here. What's going on? Lena, Simon's Diamond Soul. Interesting YouTube username, but I like it. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Tatted T, what's up? Says hello, Tom. You've been missed. Good to see you and hear you. Yeah, it's good to see everyone as well. I just had to get some things sorted out here in Miami. I had tenants moving out. So I had both my tenants move out. I had to do a big deep clean on the house, do a bunch of stuff with the landscaping. So I just needed a few days to kind of chill, get ready, and then obviously I'm going to be traveling to Korea on Monday. So I just wanted to make sure I tie up all the loose ends. Now this is the One Miami Hotel and Residences. This is really nice. This is the main valet. But the lobby of the hotel is pretty cool. It has really high ceiling heights. You have these kind of cabana looking things here. And then you have a bar over in the back. Alan, what's up? Joseph Hardaway, Bree Grams, DC322. Says, I imagine you want to live in Miami year-round. I don't know. I think it depends. I think the ideal situation is 50% in New York, 50% in Miami. I think that's the idea. Luke, what's up? Dean Martin, good to see you. It's one of my favorite singers of all time, Dean Martin, by the way. Wes Southern says, hey, welcome back, Tom. Good to see you, Wes. Welcome to South Beach. Alan, this is last stream before Asia. No, so we're gonna be live tomorrow in New York City. I got an early flight. I'm flying out at like 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. I'm gonna land in New York. We'll do one stream on Sunday. So we'll do the markets, a look ahead live stream. And then I'm gonna fly to Korea. So I'm gonna be gone for about, I'd say 12 to 14 days. But I'm gonna try to do something in between. Obviously I'll still be writing the newsletter. You guys can connect with me on X or Twitter if you guys want to follow me there. So I'll be around. We'll be around. Which, by the way, if you haven't already received it, go ahead and check your email. On Thursday, after the market closed, I sent everyone out the newsletter. So go ahead and check that out if you have not already. Just as a quick reminder. Love the palm trees here in South Florida. It's one of my favorite things about it. Hey, Scott is here from Texas. What's up? Val77 says, couldn't pay me to live in New York. I think I could. I think I probably could. I think you could pay anyone to live anywhere. If you had a lucrative enough compensation package, you'd for sure live there, for sure. Mary, what's up? Says the newsletter was good. Thank you so much. Glad you're enjoying it. And at the very end of the newsletter, I gave you guys a behind the scenes look on one of our newest listings. I think it's a pretty unique apartment 5 Beekman Street, the top floor penthouse, penthouse 51. It's a very, very interesting unit, and the owners are really, really cool, very nice. And the penthouse was featured in that show Gossip Girl. Now, I've never watched it. I've quite frankly never really even heard about it, but apparently that was the main show. Israelite King says, hey Tom, are there a lot of tech opportunities in Miami? I currently work in Charlotte as an IT support specialist. It's a really good question. I would say generally yes. Generally yes. Now, are you going to have as many opportunities as Silicon Valley or New York? Probably not. However, I think Miami is really on the come up, if you will. So as it relates to which city is at its peak in the cycle in terms of tech and which one has the most potential for growth, I think Miami has the most potential for growth. You're seeing a lot of businesses move down here. Also a lot of finance too, like VC, hedge fund business, market making business. So maybe as a suggestion, if you're an IT support specialist, you don't necessarily need to be an IT support specialist at a tech company. Maybe you want to go work for a big private equity firm and run their IT, right? Now there's a few main, well, I would say the big ones, right? Like Thoma Bravo. The CEO and founder is Orlando Bravo. He's a really, really smart guy. He's born and raised in Puerto Rico. And I believe their main office for Thoma Bravo was in San Francisco. And they have now moved to Miami or South Florida. So I'd say generally, yeah. I mean, look, Florida, the state of Florida and Miami-Dade County is open for business. That's kind of what I like to say. Now, I'll give you a quick anecdotal example. What's today's date, everyone? August 17th? So this is what you would call the Miami off-season. So this is when, South Florida, Miami is supposed to be really dead. As in, not a lot of people, not a lot of tourists, because it's really hot down here. Although, I would like to point out, the last 4 days since I've been in Miami have been quite cold, actually. It's been raining on and off, so it's actually felt really, really nice. It's quite moderate temperature, but in any event, the off-season in Miami, if you look to your right, that's the main park. It's called Collins Park, where you have the art museum. It's really, really beautiful here. But anyway, I'll cut right to the chase. I've never seen it this busy during an off-season. I thought this year was going to slow down quite materially, and it really hasn't. Usually you see a big, big drop-off in people, but I have not seen that this year. Hey, Simon's Diamond Souls. What I love about your video, Tom, is that you never miss a nice building view, whatever city you're in. Love the views. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, and I appreciate the compliments as well. DM, good to see you. NBA Elias, cheers. Daytona Gal, welcome. Carl Roth. Good thing you brought that up. Maybe I'll have to post my library tonight on X. If you're following us on X, I'll have to do that for sure. Now, what a wild week in the markets, right? Massive, massive snapback rally. Now, I posted an interesting chart on the X platform, and I think I even pinned it. Let me see, I think I may have pinned it to my profile. Hold on. I did, yeah. So if you're following us on X, this is what it looks like. Go ahead and read my pinned post. If you've been following along in our newsletter, our Behind the Street newsletter, over the past, I'd say 6 months, we've actually had a a bullish bias on Japan and the Nikkei index. Now, over the last 2 weeks, you had a major flash crash in Japan, right? You could debate on what that was caused by. Many people are saying it's the unwinding of the yen carry trade, this and that. We'll kind of leave that up for speculation. But yes, it is true that that was the worst day since, you can call it Black Monday. It was actually worse than Black Monday. But if you look at the long-term chart, a 34-year chart of the Nikkei index, it's just testing its all-time high. And usually you have some sort of reaction or a shakeout on that base as it's emerging into new highs. So something interesting. While everyone, you've probably heard all the fear porn, all the doom and gloom about how Japan, the economy is going to crater and the market is going to continue to fall and it's going to be another Great Depression, everyone run out of Japan. I think you're going to hit all-time record highs in the Nikkei index in the next 8 months. That's my prediction. I'm not saying I'm going to be right. That's my view. I'm expressing that view. I think you're going to have new all-time record highs in the Nikkei index within the next 6 months. And we'll see. We'll check back. Or excuse me, 8 months. It may be 6, but it's looking like probably 8 months. This is the Eden Gallery. This is actually one of my favorite artists of all time. This is Alec Monopoly. Now, if you visit South Florida, particularly Wynwood, I want you to go to the Wynwood Walls. It's so cool. It's such a cool place. I believe I have some videos up on the channel of walking tours of Wynwood, and you'll see a lot of the art from this particular artist there, all over the buildings. Very cool. Karl Roth says, Tom, the new president in Japan is a good thing for business. Well, I think the main thing, and again, this is just my opinion, but Japan historically has been protectionist. Okay, and I don't really want to get too much into the politics. I really want to stick more so on the finance side. But Japan has been very protectionist and very much so homogenous society, right? We're just going to come right out and say it. We're going to be blunt. They don't really like immigrants, right? They're not big on immigration. And I have a lot of Japanese friends, a lot of Korean friends. Both Korean culture, Japanese culture is very similar. But what is the main narrative in Japan right now that everyone's talking about? Well, it's the population collapse. But everyone is looking at the bearish bias of the population collapse. And nobody's looking at the potential bullish bias. Now that may sound crazy, right? You're like, wait, there's going to be a bullish bias because Japan's population is collapsing? And the answer is yes. The answer is actually a resounding yes. And you see this in the newer immigration policies in Japan. They are actually very open to immigrants now. So whether you like it or not, right, I don't want to get into the politics of it all, that is net positive for the economy. And it looks like at this point, as we're on the corner of 20th Street and Collins Avenue, that's what Japan is going to need to do to really self-sustain an economy at this point, because they are well below their replacement rate. So the next thing they have to look for is immigration. And that's been a first for Japan. Hey, Patrice 2020, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. I see Alexis Picardo says, hello from Miami. Miami is usually busy this season. You're near the bar called Medium Cool on 17th Avenue. Line sometimes goes around the corner. You'll probably see it if you keep walking north. Ah, interesting. Well, we're gonna head south, 17th Avenue. Oh, do you mean 17th Street? Let me pull that up on Google Maps. Thank you for putting that in the chat, by the way. Let me see. Medium Cool, M-E-D-I-U-M. Medium Cool Cocktail Lounge, is this it? Wow, this looks really good. Well, thanks for the recommendation. If anyone is visiting Miami, come check out the Medium Cool Cocktail Lounge. It has almost 5 stars, 4.5 star review. Cool. I'm gonna bookmark it, I'll check it out. Thanks so much for that recommendation. I've never heard of it. I do like checking out all these Art Deco buildings here. I mean, look at how unique and beautiful they are. Just gives it a really, really nice vibe. RJ is here from Colorado. Hal T, what's up? NBA Elias, Tom, great video of the penthouse. Major selling point is the outdoor balcony. The views from the balcony, awesome job presenting. Hey, NBA Elias, pretty happy that you enjoyed that. Now, one thing that kind of freaked me out about that penthouse, and I didn't know this the moment I stepped in there, I'm not a big fan of that sky floor. So if you go on if you watch the video of that penthouse I posted, this is one of our new listings. It was one of the main penthouses featured in Gossip Girl. Something that's totally wild about the apartment. If you go out on the balcony, there's a small section of the balcony that is see-through glass. It's kind of like if you've ever been to the Hudson Yards and if you've ever gone up to the edge, you could look all the way down. It has one of those. It's kind of wild. What is this place that everyone's standing outside of? Bioli. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's pretty busy. Nicholas says, I love the sky floor personally. It's a little uneasy walking on it, but it's definitely cool. I mean, hopefully, we've showed it 4 times. And we actually showed it to a very, very notable person in the investment banking world that many of you would know, but I can't say. Marcus Mendel, how are you? Welcome to South Beach. Francisco, good to see you. Arvin. Jafet Perez says, did you hear about the new Starbucks CEO? I did. You know, we haven't had a live stream in a while, so we missed so much. I believe Starbucks was up like 20% on the news. Now that is such massive news because we've had this conversation before, particularly about Howard Schultz. And I've said specifically, there's no one that's going to be able to run Starbucks like Howard Schultz. There's just no one that's going to be able to do it because that's his, bread and butter. That's his baby, essentially. But the former CEO of Chipotle is an absolute rock star, and you can't pick a better person for the job. Just look what he's done. I actually think this could potentially be a bear case, a bear thesis for Chipotle, losing a CEO of that caliber. So I'm very, very optimistic. And it's going to be interesting to watch the company over the next few quarters. I think there's going to be some drastic changes. He's the type of CEO where it's come in, rip and replace, scorched earth, get back to the basics of the business. And there's been some interesting reporting from the Wall Street Journal, as well as an interesting article in the Washington Post, kind of about the decline of Starbucks from an employee's perspective, right? We've all heard of the unionization efforts around the country at Starbucks, and that's really stemmed from poor working conditions in major cities. To kind of paraphrase some of these articles, a lot of the restrooms, the public restrooms in Starbucks have turned into kind of mini drug dens and homeless encampments. And that really, degrades the experience, right? If you ever read one of Howard Schultz's books, the vision for Starbucks was never to be a coffee shop, so to speak. It was to be the third place. And he talks about this a lot in his books. It's called The Third Place. People have home, people have work, and then people need that third place where they can come after work or in between to, hang out with their community, meet people, go on dates, whatever, bring the kids, have fun. But nobody's going to want to spend a lot of time in the stores if the stores aren't clean, if the stores aren't inviting, And I think we could all agree, particularly if you've ever been to a major Starbucks in a big city. So I think there's going to be some big changes there, which is very, very good. And the other big thing is I think he's going to slash prices across the board. I think they've gone way too overboard with the price hikes. The consumer is really starting to feel that in a major way. It showed up on their earnings reports. And I think you're going to have a completely new menu with more affordable options. I don't know, what do you guys think of the new news of the former CEO of Chipotle taking over for Starbucks? Hey Maria, what's up? D is here, Elias, Lori C. Unijade23, what's up? Hey, Tim G, it's good to see you. I kind of like the outdoor dining setups with the lights here. Now these are going to be brand new developments. This is going to be the Rosewood Hotel and Residences, and they're actually going to be keeping the original facades and kind of building around them. It's kind of cool. Hey, Brad's Brain, what's up? We were just talking about some of the movements in the Nikkei, and I have a wild kind of contrarian view that within the next 8 months, you'll probably see new all-time record highs in Japan. That's kind of my take. And then we were discussing the new CEO of Starbucks, stealing him away from Chipotle. Also, the compensation package is nuts. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he completely turned around Chipotle when that was in the tubes. And I think he'll do the same thing for Starbucks. Patrice 2020 says, I love Starbucks, but the items are overpriced. I hope the new CEO turns things around, and I'm confident he will. He's one of the best CEOs in the QSR, quick service restaurant, or what do you call it, fast casual, bar none. And that's why they pay. I think he got like a 50 million cash signing bonus. Let me actually look that up. It was either 50 million cash or stock, or a combination. It was wild. Let's see. It was something, it was a massive compensation package. This place is always busy, this taco shop. The Desert is what it's called. So his base salary is going to be $1.6 million. And he's going to have an annual incentive target of about 225% of his base. And I think he got a $50 million bonus or something. So a cash signing bonus of $10 million and equity totaling $75 million once he joins the company. That's absurd. That's unbelievable. Well, I mean, God bless him. God bless him. Hey, RB, good to see you. This is Tom. We know you're a fan of Korean cuisine. Would be cool if you scheduled the stream while there. Yeah, I will. I'll try my best. I'm going to be pretty busy, but I will try to get some footage around where I'm staying. So I'm not too sure of the area, but I'm going to be staying in Seoul. But like the southernmost side of it. I'm not too sure really anything, but I'm right next to a subway stop. Greg says, while the employees make $15 an hour. It's kind of crazy, but for an entry-level job as a barista, I would argue that Starbucks is probably the best place to work. You get free college education, which is unbelievable. So if I was down on my luck and I'm just trying to restart my life all over again, the play for me, I would honestly try to get a job at Starbucks. I'd be hell-bent on getting a job at Starbucks. I would work during the day. I would go to college for free during the nighttime. I would either study some sort of finance degree or computer science degree. Starbucks is going to pay for it, and I would try to get a job at a location either on Park Avenue in Manhattan, near all the major hedge funds, family offices, investment banks, and I would take the morning shift, the early morning shift, and I would try to network with every single person that comes through that door. Because you probably quite literally have several $1 billion in net worth coming through those doors of a Starbucks on Park Avenue and in Midtown Manhattan. So you're getting paid hourly. I don't think you get paid $15. I think you get paid a little bit more than that. You get equity, right? Starbucks is, you get stock compensation. And with the new CEO, I think the stock will actually probably go up over the years. And you get a free college education. So I think Starbucks actually does a pretty good job compared to most other big corporations. In Howard Schultz's first book, it was so wild because, I think Starbucks IPO'd, I forget where it IPO'd at, but it was under $1. And there's a program called Bean Sprouts. And the Bean Sprouts program at Starbucks is essentially they give stock to employees. And some of Starbucks' original employees in 2008 through 2010, they're worth several $1 million just from being a barista because they continuously got stock from that Bean Sprouts program. So it's quite incredible. Where in America, you could go work at a company like Starbucks, be a barista, work your way up to management, and the company does good, and you could participate in that. And some of them, in their 401k, if you've been working at Starbucks since 2010 or 08, you're probably worth several $100,000 or maybe a few $1 million. It's an interesting book. I would. If anyone's interested in just business in general, I would recommend to read every single book that Howard Schultz put out. That's my take. This is Lincoln Road, by the way. Seems to be pretty busy. The Ritz-Carlton Hotel is down here. And you have the water. This is right on the beach. So right at the end of this valet here, everyone, that's the water. Abysses didn't know that, should have did that after high school. You could do it now. There's so much opportunity in the United States. It's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Harry Connor, what's up? I'm going Monday, flying Monday. So I wanted to walk down Lincoln Road. I don't think we're going to do that. Let's continue to walk down Collins. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. We started late. Maybe we'll take a little bit of a spin around Espanola Way. Marcus is investing in higher education, and education in general is an investment in a better future. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with that. I would say if your current employer offers you like tuition reimbursement, and many employers do, you just have to ask, make HR do some work. Email the head of HR, ask them what the tuition reimbursement programs are at the job, and you'd be surprised. There's numerous. I did that. I was working at AT&T at the time, and the way it worked is if you got a B or higher in the class, if you paid for the course, you would submit your GPA with proof of grades and proof of payment, and then in 6 months they would reimburse you. Some companies will even pay for a master's or an MBA. Hey, Angel, this is Hola, Senor Tom. Nice to see you tonight. It's nice to see you too. Welcome to Miami. We're hanging out on Collins Avenue in South Beach. This is the St. Milt's something, Royal Palm. Always have really good landscaping. Norma Miranda, cheers. MBA Elias. Yeah, I plan on doing that. It should be quite interesting, and I'm really most excited to see the main business district in Seoul. And then I'll also be flying to Singapore. I've been brushing up on a lot of the different customs. And it's appropriate to hand your business card to somebody with two hands. So 15th Street, if we were to make a left, that would take us to Ocean Drive. But maybe we'll go to Ocean Drive later. Hey JC, what's up? Good to see you. Now, speaking of market movements, gold over $2,500 an ounce for the first time. Precious metals are really performing well. And I think gold is going to continue to perform really well. Massive base. Decade-long base for gold. Let's see where it's trading at right now. But during the trading day on Friday, you had $2,500 an ounce. I think you're only going to see higher prices. 2506 for gold. That is just the most perfect chart I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God, look at that. This is a weekly chart of gold. It put in a top in 2011, and it's been carving out this perfect cup with handle base. You could see this run 3,000, 3,500 during this cycle. Maybe even 4,000. I think real assets like gold, some pockets of real estate, and Bitcoin are going to perform really well. Pretty nice night. Marcus, is I feel that when you have the opportunity to spend time in Miami and work in New York, you're kind of on top of the world, best of both worlds, as they say. Totally, I agree. Very, very blessed. There's no, in my view, and I'm totally biased, I'm from New York, you can't get better environment conducive for career growth and fun than New York City and Miami. Just, you can't do it, particularly if you're involved some way, shape, or form in the real estate business or finance. It's amazing. All right, everyone, let's cross over to Espanola Way. Yeah, Brad's brain, that's true. Palantir. I think Palantir closed at $31. Let's see. PLTR 32. This is another really, really nice and symmetrical IPO base. Wow, JC's is real estate, very confiscatable here in South Africa. They call it exploration without compensation. Well, it seems like it's a good idea to have some of the unconfiscatable asset, or I should say the only unconfiscatable asset in the world. That BTC. Hey, Milkman, what's up? See, that's another thing. Us Americans, right? If you live in America, and I'm saying generally speaking, we don't really understand how good we have it here as it compares to some people who live in other countries, right? So when it comes to an investment bias or thesis, we are so trained. I don't want to say for normalcy, but I can't think of any other description. There's many parts of the world who don't have the same luxuries of individual freedoms and individual property rights as we do, right? And that's something not to be taken for granted. So that's why I think when you're developing an investment thesis, it's important to start from top down and then bottom up, right? So what's the global macro perspective? And then hammer down and drill down to the more micro parts of the economy, like maybe US, sector focus, different city, things like that. It's really, really packed today. And like I said, for the off season in Miami, things seem pretty busy. Hey, Scott Solomon. What's up, Scott? Did anyone get a chance to check out that Peter Thiel interview with Joe Rogan? I thought it was quite interesting, very, very unique. The first, I'd say, 15 minutes of that interview with Peter Thiel and Joe Rogan, he was talking about South Florida and some of these other cities that are really up and coming. And according to the podcast, Peter Thiel is thinking about relocating permanently to South Florida. He says his top two choices are Nashville, Tennessee, and Miami, Florida. I think Miami, Florida is a little bit better choice than Nashville, Tennessee. Again, I'm biased, but that's just me. Hey, Nuts and Milk says hello from Japan. What's up? Welcome to Miami, South Beach. Right here on the famous Espanola Way. Angel says, where is it more expensive to live, Miami or New York? It really depends. It really, really depends. Now, Miami used to be a lot cheaper than New York City. That's not the case anymore. It's really not. But you are starting to see rents come down a little bit in Miami. I would still say generally Miami is more affordable, but I wouldn't describe Miami as an affordable city, if that makes sense. So many people have been moving here, so many businesses have been moving here, that it's really bid up the price of everything. The prices of a home, try buying a house. Try buying like a normal, modest single family home in Miami in a halfway decent neighborhood. You're looking at a minimum, maybe 450, 500,000. And then you're probably gonna need to do some work to the property, so. Brad's Brains is telling me you should really get a taste for cigars living in Miami. You're not the first person who told me that, but just the smell of cigarettes and cigars give me such a massive headache. I couldn't even think about actually trying and attempting to smoke a cigar. I'd probably get so sick. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the smell, whatever, but. What, do you smoke cigars? Apparently you're not supposed to inhale the cigar smoke, right? Something like that? Anyway. Guys, this is Espanola Way. It's around 10:58 p.m. And we'll go ahead and check out some of the nightlife here. Speaking of cigars, I think there's a cigar place just off to our right. I think it's actually right here. Yeah, Espanola Cigars, a cigar bar and lounge. And you have this really nice kind of Spanish style balcony. Wow, Brad says, I love cigars. They're a weekend thing for me, not every day. A good cigar relaxes you like nothing. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. I just got to get over the smell. I'm very, very sensitive to smoke for whatever reason. Man, they do a really good job with the outdoor dining setups here. This is really encouraging for Miami. Many people assumed and thought that the big wave of people moving here during the pandemic and a little bit after the pandemic was going to be just temporary, and then people were just going to move back. But When he lit that up, it smells amazing. It looks like lamb chops. All right, let's walk to the end. This is a Spanish restaurant here. You can see all the flags from Spain. I haven't eaten this one either. I've had the other one, but I've never tried this one. Looks good. So this is the one I've been to before. It's pretty good. It's a little pricey though. But next up on my list, I really want to try this Japanese place. Mr. Bagman says, I ate at this Spanish restaurant a few weeks ago. It was great. Wow, I'll have to check it out. Look at this spot. It's called Craft. I'm not even too sure what kind of cuisine is it. It looks like maybe pizza. But just the whole vibe of the neighborhood is really nice. Someone says, how hot is it? This week has actually been kind of cold, not gonna lie. Yesterday was kind of cold. Today was hot. It's not bad. I mean, it's August in Miami, so this is quite literally the hottest it's probably ever gonna be in Miami is right now. And then it should start to cool down in September. But we're also going into peak hurricane season too. So hopefully we could avoid some of the storms. Emmanuel says, Tom, what do you say about the HOA crisis in Florida? We've gone over this a few times. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. But the big problems that stem from this is a lot of the older condominiums. And the ones that are coming up on special assessments with these condos that have very, very low working capital. And let's say, you know, the majority of the condos in the building are maybe worth $200,000, $300,000, but the special assessment is, you know, $75,000 a door. Well, it's probably not going to work out. So what's been happening is a lot of developers have been searching for those type of opportunities, and they'll just buy everyone out. So they'll maybe buy everyone out at maybe 1.5x the valuation. So most times people actually get out of this stuff unscathed, thankfully. And the developers, once they buy the whole property, now they could demolish it. And ironically enough, when they do that, the land, the underlying land value, is worth more than the building that once stood on the land, because now it's a developable lot and they could develop a new product. So I think this is going to be like a curse, a blessing and a curse, or a curse first and then a blessing, because obviously no one wants to move, but a lot of these older condos here are in disrepair. And in order to get them back up to code or to get them back up to standard, you're going to need to put a significant amount of work into this. But not a lot of people just have, you know, a few $100,000 laying around for a special assessment. It's just not a reality. So one of two things happen. It's either they're forced to sell their property, or they could sell it out to a developer. And oftentimes, when they sell it to a developer, everyone actually comes out with a significant gain. I actually know some developers who have done these deals. So, I mean, last thing I'll say is if you're thinking about buying something down here in South Florida, particularly a condo, I would stick to all of the newer product. I would really, really stay away from older product, and I would do a really strong audit on the finances. Like, I would hire someone that really knows what they're doing, really audit the financials of the condominium and of the HOA, see how big their working capital is, if they have a working capital fund at all. Many of them are depleted, and see if they're coming up on some sort of a special assessment, because what you'll see now in Florida is some condos on the market will look like a really good deal. And you'll be like, wow, this looks like a pretty good deal. I'll buy this for $150,000 or $200,000. But then when you really do the digging, it's going to need like a $60,000 or $25,000 to $60,000 special assessment. And that could be a big problem. So, also, what's even more than that, I would say, is the insurance. Because insurance is really, really going through the roof. Like, I just got my insurance renewal for my house. It's $5,000 a year for my house. Now, I think last year I was paying like $4,700, so it went up a couple bucks. But $5,000 a year to insure my house is pretty much laughable. That's like absolutely ridiculous. So I think the insurance is going to be a really, really big issue here. I think it's going to start to be a big issue in California. Really, any major city that's on the water, I think is going to be a big, big issue. So I think you'll start to see a lot of people self-insuring, assuming that they own their property outright. If you don't have a mortgage on your property, well, then you could probably self-insure. But if you have a mortgage on the property, obviously you can't self-insure, and you're required to have some sort of policy. And those are really, the premiums on that are really blowing out like crazy. Brad says insurance costs overall are rising tremendously. What's the underlying cause of this? There's a few main reasons specific to South Florida. There's been a lot of insurance fraud here. There's been a lot of roofing fraud. I would say in states like California, it's been more self-inflicted than not, with new regulations saying that insurance companies cannot adjust premiums factoring in future risk. So the insurance companies are just pulling out altogether, causing a monopoly where you have like one insurance provider in the entire state. And then obviously storms, flood hazards, and the like. MBA Elias as well, $5,000 a year is brutal and will only rise in the coming years. Yeah. Spencer says, wow, $5,000, how many square feet? I am about 1,800 square feet. 1,800 square feet. So what I'm thinking about doing, I may just write a check and blow the whole mortgage out and self-insure. Because my house, I mean, it's an old house. It's from the 1950s. It's withstood every single hurricane. It never floods. The neighborhood I'm in never, ever, ever floods. It's bone dry. And I think I would self-insure with some sort of liability policy through my corporation, where I would only have insurance on a third-party liability. Like if I have a tenant that, does something, gets hurt, or someone gets hurt on my property, I'm covered. I may do that. Again, it's not like a super big deal for me right now, but just the cost-benefit analysis of it it's almost not worth it. Someone says California coast isn't that big of an issue. I have a lot of buddies in California that are paying crazy through the nose in insurance. I was actually on the phone with one of my founder friends who lives in the Bay Area, and he said his auto insurance went up over 80% when he got his auto insurance renewal. And he's like, I never had an accident. And he's like, I only had 2 break-ins. He lives in the Bay Area. We'll wait for this guy to go by. So he's had 2 break-ins where people have come up when he was parked on the street and blew out his windows. He never keeps anything in his car, so they just broke his windows for no reason. And his insurance went up almost 80%. Now, what he was telling me is, a lot of his other buddies who work in the Bay Area are saying whenever they get their cars broken into or their offices or homes broken into, they're just not going to file a police report anymore or even file a claim anymore, because in the long term it'll cost them even more than to have the insurance cover it, because the premium's going to go up. So this is going to be something interesting to watch, I think, with crime stats in major cities. Because whether you like it or not, and I don't want to get too political, but the higher crime is pushing insurance premiums up. And if you are, let's say, like a shop owner like here, and you get broken into and you file a claim, your insurance is going to go through the roof, right? So oftentimes people are just not even reporting these crimes, which is really crazy. And his homeowner's insurance is through the roof too. He lives in a really, really nice neighborhood in the Bay Area, and he's had his house broken into twice. It's insane. Brad's Brain says uninsured motorist numbers have risen tons. Crime is up, causing higher rates as well. This is a direct result of the open borders. I agree. Now, who here in the chat has had their auto insurance or homeowner's insurance go up? Because if you own a house, your renewal, you probably just got your renewal, right? I mean, I just got mine. Mine's $5,000 a year now. Who here has seen an increase in their insurance premiums, whether auto or homeowners? This is a pretty long light. Hey, 9,000 says I'm going to Miami January 30th. Awesome. I think you're going to have a great time. D says my auto insurance went up. How much? Daytona Gal says my auto insurance went way, way up. Wow, Mark says both. I'm going to call my insurance guy. Joel PM says my auto is up 20%. Brad says my auto insurance just went up 10% last month. Not crazy, I guess, but definitely up. Man, this is like on Long Island here, this light. Hey, Daryl, happy birthday. 54, big number. All right, I'm just gonna, if we get knocked off, if we get hit by a car, it's because I'm impatient. Can't wait any longer. So let's go back on Collins, and maybe we'll have just enough time to go down to Ocean Drive. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We usually do these streams every day starting at 8:45. And just as a quick announcement, everyone check your email, because on Thursday I sent everyone our free investing newsletter, Behind the Street. And I think we talked about a lot of interesting stuff. So go ahead and check your email. I did email everyone via our Substack. So go ahead and check it out. John says, hey Tom, did you get a burger at that burger place when you arrived in Miami? I did, and I'm going there right after the stream. Burgers and Shakes, right on Collins Avenue. It's the best burger I've ever had in my entire life. He's right there, Burgers and Shakes, Collins Avenue, 73rd Street, 74th, something like that. Something around there. Hey, Stevens is 40 years ago. Mine went up for a motorcycle 50% because they didn't like more. Oh, they didn't like the buses in the UK? That's interesting. Milkman says, I'm just outside of Philadelphia and mine went up about 10%. Mac Rush Fans is up 40%. My Corvette was stolen last year. Holy crap. Now let's really think about some of these numbers. Right? Let's really think about some of these numbers. Many of you guys are saying 30%, 40%. That is ridiculous, guys. Okay? And that's not sustainable. Can we all agree on that? If this goes on for 3 or 4 more years, that is not sustainable. So when we talk about inflation being less than 3%, and by the way, CPI is less than 3%. We got a 2.9% print. We didn't talk about it because we didn't do the stream. We will talk about that later, but it's so important and it's so critical to do your own analysis, okay? Your own personal inflation rate, because it is way more than 2.9%, okay? We just had many people in the audience say, yeah, my auto insurance is up 40%. My homeowner's insurance is up another 25%. So your personal hurdle, your personal inflation hurdle is so much more than 2.9% a year. I mean, it's probably more like 20, right? I mean, if we're being honest, right? Not a political statement. I mean, we're just talking facts here. I mean, between insurance, between food, I mean, it's so freaking crazy. That it's just not sustainable. Now, here is something interesting to talk about. Now, many people are saying the rising insurance and the rising taxes are a catalyst for people needing to force sale their homes. And that's actually a valid argument. And so much so that many people that were running the numbers, right, they were doing a deal analysis on their homes that they purchased 2 years ago. They've seen their insurance go up 100%. They've seen their taxes probably go up close to 100%. And if they don't own their house free and clear, they need to eat that. And there's almost a high probability that their monthly payments were maybe $2,200 a month. Now they're probably $3,200 a month. And people that and these people can't self-insure even if they wanted to, because they have a mortgage. If you have a mortgage, you don't own the home. The bank owns the home, right? And they require you to have insurance policy. So there's a lot of people who own their primary residence free and clear in the state of Florida, in the state of California, and in the state of New York, if you're in a flood zone like Long Island near New York City, that are choosing to self-insure, which essentially means not pay for insurance. It's going to get interesting. I think this could be quite the interesting catalyst here. Hey, Charles says, my homeowner's insurance went up from $2,400 a year to $3,700. Wow. Where are you located, if you don't mind us asking? You don't have to, just a general state. Let us know what state you're in if you want. If you're not comfortable with that, no big deal. But all right, let's hit Ocean Drive. I think this will be fun. Wow, Surf's Flat Traders says, Tom, Geico altogether dropped me without notifying me and wouldn't renew, so I switched to AAA and I'm paying 20% more for auto. Whew. It's insane. Yadav says agreed. Not sustainable, but you can't do anything. Insurance companies can always bail/free the state, or flee the state, especially in Florida. Yeah, and they did that already in California. Mr. 007 says, I can't hope to pay off my home this year. I'm debating on just writing a check and just paying off my house free and clear. I got to think about it. I'm gonna think about it. The demand for renting my house, I've never had vacancy, ever. I've been fully booked out, and it covers all of my expenses free and clear, and cash flow. So I have a place in Miami for pretty much free. Can go back and forth, but those costs are really adding up. And my property taxes are high too. I mean, it's not Long Island, New York high, but it's still pretty high. Now my buddy just, bought a house about maybe a year ago on Long Island, near the town we grew up in. And his property tax bill for just a modest home in Massapequa
I check every day, my balance
is $13,700 a year. And that's actually considered kind of reasonable, for, a 4-bedroom house, modest colonial home on Long Island. $13,700. Now, if you have a nice house, right? I mean, if you have a nice house, like near South Shore, Long Island, like Oceanside, the Massapequa Shores, things like that, you could have a $30,000, $45,000 property bill every year. It's insane. And I don't know how that's sustainable either. This is the Betsy Ross. This place is beautiful. Sabrina Fair says our property taxes are high. Auto went up 30%. Homeowners went up 25%. It's brutal. Whew. Sabrina Fair, what state are you in? It's so brutal. It's insane. Lux Travel, we will. We will take a look at the thing. Tim says regarding home insurance, you have to make sure the insurance company has your proper square footage. Yes, that's true. That is true. And here's another thing. The other problem why insurance is going up, and Tim makes a really good point, periodically, particularly if you live in the state of Florida over the past 3 years, chances are your property value has gone up astronomically. So you have to adjust your coverage based upon the valuation of your home. Some people just leave it the same. And that's another reason why insurance is going up, because if the value of your property goes up, you have to add more coverage to cover the new valuation, right? So it's a really good point by Tim. Alan says in Kansas, auto is up 30% for no reason. That's just freaking nuts. Nuts, ridiculous. And look, I'm not a big fan of insurance companies, but the moment you make a claim and when you really need them, they're probably going to break your balls and try like hell not to pay out the claim too. This is the Betsy Orb. Oh, marron. This thing's kind of unique, isn't it? You could actually walk through it too. All right, let's head all the way down Ocean Drive. it's so relaxing here, I don't want to leave. You can sit at one of these tables, just grab a drink and chill and look at Ocean Drive. You have a nice moon out too. Now here's the crazy thing. So I was just getting a text. So I got my insurance renewal in the mail, and I'm like, what? It went up, it's $5,000. And then I was like, oh, that's just ridiculous. You know, you get that, you're just a little bit stressed out. I wouldn't say stressed out, you're just, you know, not enthused that your insurance went up. And then I took my Vespa to the beach today, and it was the most beautiful beach day ever. And if you go to 72nd Street in Collins, they just redid the entire boardwalk, and it looks so nice. And I went swimming today, and I was looking back at the shoreline, and I'm like, yeah, this is worth the $5,000 insurance premium. It's just such a good quality of life here. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. Same with the state of California, right? I told you guys this story numerous times. I have a buddy. He's like a super ultra crazy conservative. Now I'm conservative, but this guy is like conservative times 50,000. And he lives in one of the nicest parts of California. It's 75 degrees and sunny all year round. You could go to the beach. It's beautiful. And he's like, I'll never, ever, ever leave the state of California, ever, just because the weather and the climate is so beautiful. He's like, I don't care how much they tax me. I don't care if they take 90% of my income. He's like, I'll never leave just because it's so gorgeous. And I totally get it. I totally get that. Especially if you got money and you're retired, you know, you're in your 60s and you're like, you know what, I made a lot of money. I'm gonna live where I wanna live, where it's perfect. And, you know, you could say what you want about the state of California, but in terms of weather-wise, climate, it's probably the best in the entire country. Like Miami is beautiful, but a lot of people don't like the humidity. It's very, very humid here. In some parts of California, it's like a 75-degree, cool, nice, hot beach day every day, forever. It's an unbelievable place. And I think the government knows that, and I think that's why they're really not changing. Sabrina Ferris says San Diego is getting humid. Really want to visit San Diego. That's very high up on my list. Mr. 007 says, Tom, ask your insurance to get rid of coverage C. Let me take a screenshot of that, Mr. 007. Thank you, sir. Cynthia Avis says, can't go in the water, it's freezing. I'm used to freezing water. Long Island, New York has very freezing water. Yadav says Southern California has the best weather in all of North America. I think I would agree. I would agree with that totally. And that's why it's worth the premium. You know, it's really, really worth the premium there. I mean, guys, if we go back to Economics 101, we've had a huge discussion tonight about, you know, insurance premiums, homeowners insurance, this and that. But at the end of the day, right, if we really want to boil it down to why this is happening, the most desirable places are the most expensive, right? I mean, that's, you know, oceanfront property in Miami. It's going to be expensive. There's hurricanes here. The insurance is going to be high. You know, a beautiful house in Malibu, California, it's going to be pretty expensive, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's just supply and demand, and this is where people want to live. People want to live in those great places. Reed says, that's why I retired on the California Central Coast. Love it. SSLA, this is California great weather, however Newsom is the worst. I agree with that personally. Western Mass Dave, it's good to see you. Cheers. You didn't get the notification. I think now with YouTube you have to select, you have to like turn notifications on. But thanks for joining us, Dave. We're just hanging out in Miami, Ocean Drive. It's been kind of a chill night, which is good. I fly back to New York early tomorrow, so we will be doing our Markets A Look Ahead stream live from New York City. And then I will be off to Korea for about 10 days-ish. And then I'm gonna go to Singapore, and then I will be back with all of you guys in New York. But yeah, today I finally carved out some time to go to the beach, and I can't even describe how beautiful it was today at the beach in Miami. It was like it was picture perfect weather, and there was these big white puffy clouds in the sky. The beach was perfectly clear. The water was not like super warm, but it was like just right. It was amazing. It's just an amazing place. And I got my tenants coming in tomorrow right when I leave. This is the Carlisle. Wayne McKay, this is if you live stream from Korea and Singapore for just an hour. Yeah, you could write off some of your time. I think just the time difference, and I'm gonna be pretty busy when I'm there, but I'm gonna try my best. Creatives says, I have a question. Where do Miami residents typically go for summer vacation? I'm not sure. I'd say a bunch of places, but maybe New York. There's a lot of snowbirds that spend time in Miami in the winter, and then they'll go back to Boston or New York in the winter. So or they go back to Miami in the winter. Let's see if I could take you guys on the water. We'll see if the internet holds up. We're headed towards the south of 5th neighborhood. Oh, has anyone here ever been to St. Kitts? Let me see. Someone sent me an email about St. Kitts the other day. That looks really tropical over there. All right, let's go ahead and make this left. We'll see if we can go on the water, but they sometimes close it down. We'll see if the internet holds up. Usually the internet's not so good. This is a view looking back Now, if any of you want to visit South Florida, I'm going to give you a recommendation that you've got to do, okay? So if you have a car or you're on like a Vespa or something like that, at sunset you've got, like this is like 100% required. I think the beach is still open. You've got to take a drive over the Haulover Inlet to Sunny Isles Beach at sunset near the Haulover Marina. It's the most peaceful, unbelievable thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like that's just like the prime, honestly, one of the best sunsets I've ever seen in my entire life is right there. It's unbelievable. Right as you come from Bal Harbour, you go over the Haulover Inlet. That's the route that I take home every day. It's awesome. All right, so we're now on the sand here. Ooh, and it smells good. One of the things that I like about South Beach, and particularly South of 5th, all those big high-rises you see in the distance, that's the South of 5th neighborhood. The beach is so wide here. I mean, the sand is super, super wide. And for about a quarter of it, it's very hard sand. So you could run on the beach and you're not running in soft sand. It's really nice. Here's the main lifeguard stand. Oh wow, this is awesome. Let me know if you guys could hear the waves. There's the main lifeguard stand. It's awesome here. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just amazing. Whoops, I just got hit by a wave. Oops, another one. That's all right. All right, let's head back in. I think the police are calling everyone off the beach anyway. What do you guys think? I like it quiet. I don't really like the loud Ocean Drive, to be honest. I mean, I like Ocean Drive, I just don't like loud noise. I'd much rather just walk on the beach. And you could go all the way from South Point Park. Now, when we come back to Miami the next time, there's South Point Park Pier, which is so cool. You could see all the way to Fisher Island. It's just an amazing sunset. I think I've taken you guys there a couple times. But you can run all the way from South Point Park, the beach there, and come all the way up here. It's amazing. I mean, it's the coast, so you could pretty much take this all the way to Haulover Inlet. But it's awesome. It's just amazing here. I don't know if we can exit here. Maybe they're looking for something. Dave, Western Mass Dave, am I ready for my flight? Honestly, no, I've never flew for 14 hours, so we'll see. Hey, April M, what's up?
Yo.
Hey.
The beach is closed at this hour.
Oh, okay, thanks, man. Can I go out here? Thank you.
Hold on.
Ah, thanks, man.
Yeah, the beach is closed from 10 to 5. But
Okay, thank you. 10 to 5, wow. Oh, you dropped something. Yeah, no worries. Hey, stay safe.
you too, man.
See ya. Wow, did you say 5 p.m.? That seems a little early. Or maybe 5 to 10 p.m. he was saying. He dropped his computer off the back of the ATV. But yeah, we'll check out South Point Park. And we'll also have to check out the new boardwalk at 72nd, which is in North Beach. I was doing that today. Ah, Scott says 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Makes sense. Makes sense. 10 p.m. seems a little early, though. I get it. South Beach is a little rowdy, so the police have really had to crack down. All right, let's head back up north. I parked my scooter on 17th Street. Hey, UniJ23, appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited. Never been out of the country, and the first time I'm going pretty much halfway around the world. It's a nice bike path they have. Left-handed says, have I ever been to Hawaii? I haven't, but my brother just came back from Hawaii, I think about a month ago. Anywhere it's tropical and beautiful, I'll like it. So if the weather's nice, if the sun is out, I'm in. Hey, this is where are you going? I'm going to Korea. I'm going to be in Seoul for about 10 days, and then I'm going to be in Singapore for maybe about 4 days. This is the Cardozo Hotel. I like the purple backlight. John says, Tom, do you see folks riding the e-bikes in Miami? I see more scooters though, particularly if you're in downtown Miami or Brickell. It seems like everyone has one of those little electric scooters. I'm going for a mix of business and vacation. Singapore is business, Korea, it's a mix of both.
I got me a little drink. I'll take a little shot of this, but I'm outside. I ain't even lying. Who the hell you think I am, a fucking puppet?
Jonathan says, what hotels near Miami Beach do you recommend? I would say well, are you against staying a little bit further north? Near Sunny Isles Beach, perhaps? I think, you know, if you want to give it a try, if you stay in Sunny Isles Beach, you're pretty much going to have the beach all to yourself. It's very, very private, and it's not too far to get to Mid-Beach. You could take the free trolley, or you could take the bus, or if you have a car. But there's a really nice Hilton in the South of Fifth neighborhood. There's also another Hilton right on the water up here. And pretty soon you're going to be able to stay at the Aman, New York. Or not the Aman, New York. The Aman, Miami. Similar to the one that's on 57th Street and 5th. They're building an Aman branch in, what's it called? Mid-Beach, which is pretty cool. Hey, Michael from Corpus Christi, Texas. What's up? Everything's going good here in Florida. Oh yeah, Fontainebleau too, Jeff Soffer's project. Jeff also did the Turnberry Ocean Club and residences. Hey, Jack CW. Welcome to South Beach. This is one of the first places I've ever went to when I came to Miami for the first time. This Starbucks right here. And then I stayed on Normandy Shores, or Normandy Isles, which is just right next to North Beach. And I was just really, really sold on the neighborhood. Ah, Lilla's is the one hotel gives you your own beach on Collins. That's right where we started the live stream, you're right. That's a really nice hotel. Now the valet is really nice because right in front of the valet you have these kind of like cabanas, and the lobby is quite nice. There's a bar in the lobby. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's quite literally where we started off the broadcast. That's a really, really nice one. It's a good point. I think there may be residences there too for purchase, I think.
The what?
That's a really good recommendation by Lilla Green, the one hotel. And you know what? Every time I walk past there, it smells really good. They must be spraying something. They must have something in the HVAC because it smells really, really freaking good. I don't know what it is, but it smells great. Hey, Jules, what's up? He says, hey, great to catch you. Thanks so much. You know, funny enough, I'm actually going to be playing golf in Korea one of the days I'm there. I'll have to send you a photo of the course. Mr. 007 says Miami is not the same as it was before. I think you could say that about every single city ever that's ever existed. Every city is constantly changing and evolving and hopefully growing. This is kind of a cool walkway to this hotel. This hotel is pretty good too, just the brand, the Hyatt Centric. Maybe also try staying in Brickell. That's more of like a city feel, city environment. I was very, very close to buying something in downtown Miami in Brickell, but then I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I live in New York City. I don't need to move to another city to live in an urban environment. You know what I mean? When I come to Miami, I kind of want to go to the beach. I don't really want to, not that I don't want to be in the city. It's just I need a little bit of a break. But I was very, very close. And I'm glad I didn't because, I mean, Brickell really, really blew up. I was not expecting that. It is so popular to live there, and now it's so expensive, and it's so crowded. Who's little dog? I like these side shots here. It reminds me of like the B-roll of a television show or a movie based in Miami with like people walking past the restaurants and the nightlife. It's a cool shot. It's interesting cinematography. Speaking of New York, they have Arita's here. I used to live by Arita's on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. It's pretty good, but I like Ralph's Italian Ice a little bit better. Mark says it's getting late. It is, it's midnight already. Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna be back in my bike in a minute. Might as well just take you guys there with me. This is Lincoln Road. This is the Ritz-Carlton. So if you drive all the way down here, this is the main valet to the Ritz, which is pretty nice too. This is right on the water. It's right on the beach. What the heck, we'll cross. I usually try not to cross against the light in Florida. I think Florida drivers are the worst in my opinion. Yeah, says, have I spent time in Coral Gables? I have. I love the Gables. But you know what? It's a little bit too far. That's kind of my criticism of Coral Gables. It's just a little bit too far, but I think Coral Gables is now the most expensive residential neighborhood in the United States. I think it dethroned one of those neighborhoods in California. I forgot. Maybe Calabasas? I forget. But Coral Gables is great. That is where the University of Miami is. There's a lot of people who bought in Coral Gables over the last 3 years are the big, kind of like finance executives that moved down here to South Florida. There's a lot of Citadel employees that live in Coral Gables. Hayes Productions is like the Hamptons nice by far. Yeah, Hamptons is nice. I think the Hamptons over the last few years has gotten a little bit too overhyped, a little bit too expensive, and a little bit too crowded. That's kind of my critique on the Hamptons. Too crowded. Now, when I was really young, I had an uncle who used to live in Watermill, New York, which is a very nice town. So I spent a fair share of time in the Hamptons as a kid. This was before a lot of people knew that ticks were a major problem out on Long Island. And now it's widely known. But if it's, to a lot of outsiders who are not Long Islanders, if you ever visit the Hamptons, you gotta buy tick spray. You have got to do it. Because you can get Lyme disease. And a lot of celebrities have gotten Lyme disease because they go out and they rent these homes in the Hamptons and they go take a walk in the woods, they take a walk in the sand dunes, and they get bit by ticks and they get Lyme disease. So I remember every time when I was a young kid going out there, every time we go out and play outside, we would get searched. Like our parents would search us for ticks, like for 30 minutes. So just keep a mental note. If you're not from Long Island, but you want to check out the Hamptons, go to a CVS or go to Amazon and buy a bottle of tick spray and use it when you're there. Trust me, very dangerous. I believe that's how Justin Bieber got Lyme's disease. And for a long time, nobody really knew anything about it. I heard through the grapevine that he went to a doctor, consulted with a doctor out east on Long Island, and they said, yeah, you have Lyme's disease from renting a house out there. Nobody really knew about it. Wow, University of Miami students have to shell out $3,000 a month to rent a one-bedroom. I mean, I know that's high, but it, you know, coming from New York, it doesn't really feel that high, but it is high, you're right. That's crazy. Man, look at how nice this setup is. All right, we're almost back at the One Hotel, where we will end the broadcast. But if you guys enjoyed tonight in South Beach, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We usually do these every night starting at 8:45. We will be live from New York City, maybe about 9 o'clock, 9:30 tomorrow. And as a quick reminder, just go ahead and check your email, because I did send out our free investing newsletter on Thursday. So go ahead and check it out. But until then, we'll see all of you back in the 212 tomorrow. So Jay, Teresa Diaz, DM, Lily Lynn, Scott, Western Mass Dave, Mark Francis 076, Unij 23, Mark STR, appreciate it. D Alexander, Steve, MBA Elias, Molly F, Joseph Hardaway. There's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. Signing off from South Beach. We'll see you all in New York City tomorrow. Take care. I think I might have to shut down my phone. From time to time, this prism gets stuck. Let's see here.
Like I
For my birthday, my 30th.
I might as well just take you guys back to the scooter then. I think my screen is frozen. Anyway, this is a nice hotel here too. And it's always really packed. I think you pronounce it Setai, right? Miami Beach. This is a 5-star hotel. "21st Street, Collins Park." Yeah, looks like you guys will get some bonus coverage. It is what it is. It is what it is. What can we do? Anyone read any interesting articles lately? Anything fun? While we're walking back to the Vespa, anything interesting you guys want to talk about or cover? I have one. It's a podcast. Check out that Peter Thiel podcast with Joe Rogan. It was very, very interesting, particularly as they talked about artificial intelligence. Now, who here in the audience would remember, and this was like a year ago we were talking about this. Does anyone remember me covering Dr. Kai-Fu Lee? Does anyone remember me bringing that guy up? This was like when I first started. I mean, we were talking about this years ago with his book AI Superpowers. Anyone remember that? Kai-Fu Lee. I was almost an accident. Got to be careful out here. Now, Peter Thiel brought that up. He brought that up. He's like, well, if he was, kind of talking about artificial intelligence, and he brought up Dr. Kai-Fu Lee, and he's like, I think people should pay close attention to that. I won't spoil the book for everyone, but you should read the book. It's called AI Superpowers by Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. He was the former president of Google China when Google was trying to penetrate the search business in China, and now he runs a VC firm solely focused on Chinese AI startups. And they spent quite a bit talking about Dr. Kai-Fu Lee. And when I heard that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I read that book when it first came out. Western Mass Dave's is inseparable. Someone says NAR changes. I don't know if I have the energy to talk about that now, but you're right. They did come into effect today. I think today was the actual date where it came into effect. NBA Live says Ken Griffin article/profile in the Wall Street Journal August 15th. I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to take a look at it. I'm having a lot of issues with my online subscriptions, particularly Wall Street Journal, IBD, and Barron's. They never get delivered. They never, ever get delivered. I'm too lazy to give them a call. I gotta give them a call. And I don't like reading it on my phone. It gives me a headache. But put the link in the chat if you can to the article. I'd like to check it out. I'll probably Google it when I get home. This is the one hotel here. They have their own city bikes. This place smells really good. and I like the vibe of the valet. Such a nice entrance. All right, everyone, let me try to turn down my phone. It's after midnight. We got to go to sleep. I'll see you guys tomorrow in New York. It was good to catch up. Good to talk to all of you. God bless, be well, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you soon. I got to figure out how to turn this thing off. Probably just going to power down the phone.